Shalom, shalom.
Hello.
Welcome back. We're inside now because it's freezing outside.
It's getting a little chilly.
It's gotten a little chilly. This is actually our week of Sukkot, and so it's been a very cold week.
It has sunny days but chilly nights. So
Yeah. If you're here and you haven't done Sukkot, it's amazing. It's amazing that Yahuwah, our Father, has given us days to celebrate Him, feast days. One of them to celebrate Him is to kind of get outside your comfort zone. And have 7 days of dwelling in sukkah or a tent or some sort of dwelling.
Yeah, Sukkot just means Feast of Tabernacles, right?
Yeah, Feast of Tabernacles, a place you can decorate it with pine branches. It's pretty awesome. You can decorate it with goodly branches, have amazing meals, and there's so much about it too. These are one of the 3 pilgrimage feasts of the Torah, and one of the 3 times where you bring your sons before Yah. I'm not empty-handed, so you always bring something to offer to Him, but you bring your sons, your firstborns, your males. All males
Dedicated.
must be brought before Yahuwah, which I think is incredible. There's 3 of those feasts, and it's amazing. All of y'all's feasts are incredible.
Yeah, these are my favorite though, and I love it. It's like there's a saying that says it's the one command that Yah gives that we as adults are commanded to build forts.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's a fun feast day. That we look forward to every single year. This is our 7th.
7th, or we started. Our first Sukkot, I think, was in 2019. 2019. So
yeah. And it's changed. So I've been asked, over the years, but even this year, I've been asked, what do you do for Sukkot, and how do y'all celebrate, and what things do you do, and Leviticus 23, Numbers 28 through 29. I'm gonna drop
Jubilees.
Jubilees
talks about it.
There are many passages on how to do Sukkot. There's commands within the Torah on how to do it. And then where were we just reading? Was it Nehemiah? Where were you just reading about Sukkot?
Yeah, Nehemiah, when they came forward, Ezra delivered the Torah to them. This was after they're coming back from Babylon. I think it's Nehemiah 8. After they're coming back from Babylon, they get into the land, and Nehemiah's like, whoa, this Torah thing, let's do Sukkot.
Yeah.
And they come together and have this joyous celebration.
And they read the whole Torah, right?
I think each day, I think they're reading the Torah.
Yeah, they're reading.
Which is incredible. Which is not a command. I mean, you find a lot of things in Nehemiah that aren't necessarily commands, but they are good things. And there's good tradition that goes with these commands.
Yeah.
So not every tradition is evil.
And every single year that we have celebrated Feast of Tabernacles, it's looked different. We have gone out of town and celebrated Feast of Tabernacles and dwelt in other families' homes. And then just most recently, we've been actually since you've been able to, since you started, a new career, and you're home now. This is our 2nd year being able to actually camp, and so we have chosen to camp in a tent in our backyard next to our fire pit, and so we cook our meals over the fire. Not every single one, but that's something that's a tradition that we've started with our family.
Well, we were always camping, but this is like you were saying, this is the first time we were able to camp. Last year was the first time I was able to camp every single day, mainly because of my job.
The job, that you had before. But there's a lot of different things that we love. Just truly being together as a family, but playing worship music. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do. And you can do it just very, very, very basic. If you just want to sit and read at a fire pit, or, put up a little, what are those things that we have out there? Those little tents, those little, canopies.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of canopies, and decorate it. Put some goodly branches, like you were saying, pine branches or whatever you've got in your yard, and attach it to your sukkah, and put some lights on it, and eat under it, and read Yah's word, read the Most High's word, and it will richly bless you. So it's not a Sukkot video, but it is the time of year. 'Tis the season. So but we've really enjoyed it, and it looks different for us every year. And this year we're really going to celebrate, I think, and make a big to do with the Gray 8th Day.
Yeah, more
or
so
the
than we
8th
have
grade
done
day.
in the past.
Yeah.
And all these are Sukkot is. It's just a ingathering. It's a celebration of the ingathering of the harvest. All these feast days revolve around seasonal events.
Yeah.
And so what's really incredible, we're actually a little later than most people. I think most of y'all have already celebrated Sukkot. But with our calendar, what we're doing this year, what we've done in previous years, is following the new moon, being the full moon as the new moon. We've done this previously 3 years ago. But now it's a little different. We're actually following some of the stars as well to help us to figure out which moon we are to follow, and when to add that 13th moon. But that's not in scripture. More to say about that, but this is not about calendar. But anyways, I think like you're saying, Sukkot, go at it with, okay, I'm going to try to do the best I can at what scripture says. I'm going to read scripture, Leviticus 23. You mentioned some other verses in Jubilees as well. Go at it and have a joyous time. We talked about this the other day, and we've talked about this before. Like our first Passover was not perfect. I actually accidentally ate unleavened bread during the Feast of Unleavened Bread by accident.
You ate leavened bread.
Did I say unleavened? Yeah, I ate leavened bread. I was sitting there eating a sandwich and totally forgot. I was like, oh no, so I messed up. And there's things that I didn't do that I should have done.
Yeah.
But it was one of our best Passovers because our heart was there.
Mm-hmm.
Our heart was in it completely. And Yahuwah thankfully winks at our ignorance. And so when you do things that aren't necessarily right, just try to do the best you can. And every year grow, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So every year read the word. Understand what you need to be doing better for Yah. Not for your own righteousness, not to push it upon people, but more to gain a closer relationship with Yah. There are things we do for Passover. There are things we do for Sukkot. There are things we do for all these feast days that we have found in Scripture that I don't know that are not necessarily like popular. Like I don't know that other groups do them. But for us, it's like, yes, this is scriptural. This is something that I want to feel closer to him. And what better way than feeling closer to him or to know him what better way than keep his commandments?
Mm-hmm.
Seek his word. That's how we are to know him. 1 John 2:3 is to know him is to keep his commandments.
Yeah.
And this is what you do.
Yeah.
Just if you're new to this, just read and do it. Don't trust it. Don't trust us. Don't trust anyone on YouTube. Just read the word.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I'm going to just try my best to do this.
Search it out and see what the set apart Spirit says to you. I mean, truly, let the Spirit like fully indwell in you and speak to you, and through His Word, and don't allow the pressure of what everybody else is doing to influence you in a negative way, or like this is too much. Because truly, we have found less burden with keeping the feast days than we ever did the holidays, right? I mean, there's way less pressure doing God's commanded, set apart, appointed times. Way less pressure, way less burden, and just have fun with it. Like you said, this is the feast of rejoicing. It's literally commanded to have joy. And I'll be honest, it's been hard for me. This has probably been the first year since we've kept any of the feasts that it's just been sort of bittersweet for me. I've had, we just had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so I've really had to, find joy in the Feast of Joy. It's
incredible because all of Yahuwah's feasts require something of you. And I think it's amazing. And like, I say this all the time, like think about your life and the times you felt most alive. It was when you were kind of pushed outside your comfort zone. It was when you were kind of taken to the edge of struggle to your knees. And that's really when you feel the most alive in your life. And I think
it's when you feel your closest.
Yeah. I think
when you desire to draw near to, like you want him as close as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Those times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like when we're talking about Yah's feast days, it's no different. I mean, all these feast days require something of you. It requires, you just said a feast of a joyous occasion, like a joyous feast. We're supposed to have joy every day in our hearts. That's something hard to have.
And
especially,
like you said, it's not circumstantial either, right?
Yeah, true joy isn't circumstantial. So, it's hard to have joy, especially during Sukkot. Especially if you have kids, you got to set up all this stuff for these kids and
Well, you
tents
don't
and
have
all this
to.
stuff. Well, you don't have to, but I think it is
There's work.
imperative. I think you should be doing
Yeah.
some sort of dwelling. You should be building some sort of dwelling,
Sure.
whether or not it's a tent or whether or
Yeah.
not it's somewhere you're
Just
going to sleep every single night
Or just eat.
or just eat. I think that maybe that's up to the interpretation, but I think dwell. I think we are to live somewhere separately,
Yeah.
and that's just my opinion. But I think it's, like we said, this is only the second year we've been able to do it every single day of
Yeah.
Sukkot. So
Absolutely.
you want to talk about something else?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, we got stuck on the
I
on
brought it.
Sukkot.
Well, I sort of brought it up just because I usually get asked, at least once, maybe more, as we approach the feast days, like how we do it, and so I wanted to share,
Yeah.
how we do it.
And I think I think
know.
it does help because I was looking at people in my first year. I was looking at people like Rob Skiba talk about it
Mm-hmm.
and different things. It was helping it make it easier to me because when you first come into
It's overwhelming.
reading some of the Old Testament, some of these things that are the older writings, that Moses' writings, you're like, oh my goodness, like how do I do this? You get kind of overwhelmed. But as you keep doing it, you're like, this is actually fairly easy. Now I don't understand all the sacrifices and things like that. There's a lot of things there, and we could do a whole video on sacrifices. I know that is a big
Contention.
contention. Yeah, there's like a big contention on whether sacrifices still exist. But that's neither here nor there. So we are going to talk about Acts 10. We're going to talk about Peter's dream. And why do you want to talk about this?
Well, I do think it's sort of a pivotal vision
Yeah.
in the New Testament that sort of has been interpreted. Maybe it's got a different, like you said, the interpretation sort of changed and adapted to more of what I think, how we interpret the dream or Peter's vision now. But it certainly in the past has been interpreted and used as an example to do away with the Torah.
Yeah, dietary laws.
Specifically,
Yeah.
dietary laws.
And we talked about this before. I think we've gone into Peter's dream before on earlier
think we have,
videos,
yeah.
but we kind of want to do. I mean, I think these things are good to keep kind of popping up, on YouTube for people that, especially newer people, that are kind of coming into this because this is kind of a stumbling block, and we talk about this all the time together. How Yahuwah allows stumbling blocks. In fact, it's in the Torah that I will set stumbling blocks around you, so that way you're going to trip over. If you're not going to believe, if you're not going to have faith, you're going to trip over some of these stumbling blocks, and not actually believe. The Jews themselves, at least in the times of the Messiah, were not believing in the Messiah, the Mashiach. They didn't believe him because he was a stumbling block unto them. Just like Paul right now is a stumbling block unto Christians. And that's modern day Christianity. I don't hold the first century Christians under the same scrutiny because they were much different. They're much holier than Christianity today.
And we did a video a long time ago. It's been like 2 years ago on Acts 15, which comes a few chapters after the fact, but also another one of those examples, that's I think interpreted and viewed, in some circles, Christian circles, as the Torah, the changing, if you will, of the Torah. So
yeah, Acts 15, same thing, same stumbling block you can get caught up in. Or if you have a foundation, you set your foundation on a rock. The wise man sets his foundation on a rock. You put your foundation precept upon precept, line upon line. So if you put in your foundation the first precepts, and then you read the next precepts later on in the end of the book, they make more sense. Okay, so I can read Acts 15, I can read Acts 10, and say, look, circumcision done away with. We have dietary laws are now okay.
Jesus made all things clean.
Jesus made all things clean. I can do whatever I want unless it's in the New Testament, saying I can't. The old covenant's done away with. I can think all these things if my first precepts are not what's written in the Torah. And what's written in the Torah is the law is forever. What's written in Psalm, my goodness, read Psalms 119. David writes in the Psalm like so many times how the Torah is forever. It's eternal. It's for all generations. It's till the end of heaven and earth. Even Yeshua himself says not one jot or tittle is going to be done away with the law until heaven and earth disappear.
The sum of your commands are truth. It's in Psalm 119 somewhere.
That's beautiful.
Sum of your commands, like the whole of them.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's
listen.
so many times in there, it's talking about them being forever as well, and these things don't end. I mean, but if that's my first precept, then I read Acts 10, and I'm like, okay, well, obviously this is not doing away with dietary laws. There's got to be another meaning here. Well, it's just in the text. If you just read it literal, Acts 10 tells you the meaning of the dream. We're going to get into that. Hopefully, um, for anyone new to the Torah, hopefully this will be interesting. And anyone that knows this about Acts 10, Peter's dream, maybe we're hoping to present some things that maybe you didn't even know, because we didn't even know. And if you're here, if you've joined our channel because you like the little season or you think the millennial kingdoms happen like we do, and you enjoy that research, I absolutely enjoy that research, and you haven't found the biggest conspiracy of all, which is the hiding of Yahuwah's word, the hiding of his commandments, the Torah, is the biggest conspiracy. It's literally since the Garden of Eden until now, Yah's commands, including don't eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is a dietary law. All this, it's been hidden from us. So we can talk about our history being hidden, cosmology being hidden, but the truth is the word of Yahuwah is hidden. The actual word, the mystery of godliness, the mystery that lies deep within the text. And it's hidden because of stumbling blocks. Yahuwah hides his holy things. That's why we can't go to paradise right now. That's why we can't go. Well, certain things are unknown.
Yeah.
If you're in the Torah community, I don't know that we have the right calendar yet. So certain things are actually hidden from us because they're holy. So.
All right. Are we gonna just read? Are we gonna?
Let's go ahead. No, go ahead.
We're gonna read all of it.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Hang tight. Listen up. This is amazing.
Okay. All right. I'll start. So I was putting my notes over here. Okay. Now there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a captain of what was called the Italian regiment, dedicated and fearing Elohim with all his household, doing many kind deeds to the people and praying to Elohim always.
Okay, so yours says kind deeds, and this is almsgiving. The KJV says alms. Obviously this is according to the Torah. Okay, so he is giving to the poor, but these are sacrifices and things that he could give, and this is commanded within the Torah. So we already have something from the Torah in here. He's not just giving alms because this is what we're supposed to do. He knows this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And I'd read somewhere where he was well respected. Maybe I can't remember where, but he was well respected among the Jews too, being a Roman, citizen.
Does it not say?
Does it say that in here? See, we read this last weekend. We did this study last Shabbat. I had read it about Cornelius, I think, in the Bible study app.
It might come up. I can't remember where it is, but yeah, he was well respected of the Jews. Now, if he was a lawless Greek or Roman centurion, if he's a lawless Roman, obviously he wouldn't have been respected by the Jews. He was respected by the Jews because he was, he had a circumcised heart.
Yeah.
Obviously he was trying to follow some of the commands. By the way, even Christians, we all follow the commands. Yeah. Every one of us. It's even within an atheist heart. To follow some of the commands. So obviously the Torah is not done away with. It's just which parts we think are done away with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. He clearly saw in a vision.
Oh, okay. Real quick.
Okay.
He feared Elohim.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Obviously the fear of Elohim. What does it mean he feared Elohim? Obviously fearing Elohim is, of keeping his commandments. You get wisdom from fearing Elohim. Fearing Elohim is he would have to open up this book, and we're not talking about the New Testament here. He would be opening up the Torah, fearing Elohim and saying, some of these laws, man, I should be doing them. Yeah. Maybe I should be wise. I should read the Psalms, the Proverbs, and things like that.
Yeah, and all throughout the Torah, Yah is saying, if you fear me, he always. I wish I had an example, but he's always talking about or telling his people to fear him and to keeping his commands. Like it always kind of it's coupled together,
yeah,
right?
The whole duty of man.
Yeah, for all mankind in Ecclesiastes 12. But yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand. If you fear, it's like if you fear, like our boys fear you, but they have a healthy fear. They have a healthy reverence and respect for you, and the rules of the house,
Yeah.
right? And so I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, if you like, what God is he serving here? If he's serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, obviously he would be reading, or at least going to the synagogues and hearing
Right.
the Torah.
Right.
And I believe, I mean, if the Jews respected him, like I said, he's not lawless. He's following something here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Verse 3, he clearly saw in a vision about the 9th hour of the day a messenger of Elohim coming to him and saying to him, Cornelius. And looking intently at him and becoming afraid, he said, What is it, Master? And he said to him, Your prayers and your kind deeds or almsgiving have come up for a remembrance before Elohim. Wow. It's almost like an offering. They've come up as an offering, right? Before Yahuwah.
yeah.
And now send men to Yaffo. What is Yaffo? Hopa. And send for Shimon, who is also called Kepha. He is staying with Shimon, a leather tanner whose house is by the sea. That hits home with us, just sidebar, because we run a tannery. So it's kind of cool to see that, throughout Scripture. And when the messenger who spoke to him went away, Cornelius called 2 of his household servants and a dedicated soldier from among those who waited on him continually. And having explained to them all, he sent them to Yaffo. And on the next day, as they were on their way and approaching the city, Kepha, Peter, went up on the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became hungry. All right, verse 10. And he became hungry and wished to eat. But while they were preparing, he fell into a trance. And he saw the heaven open. I think maybe, do you want to read it in the KJV? Because it seems different. Because mine says yours says sheet. I think mine says certain vessel. Or maybe not.
Well, a certain vessel, yeah.
Okay.
That's from the, we wrote down the Greek word is skiios, which means vessel or utensil.
Implement.
Yeah, it could be a plate. It could be a plate coming down on the sheet.
Bound at the 4 corners, descending on him and let down to the earth. In which were all kinds of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping creatures, and birds of the heaven. We're going to stop there, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think what's cool is these creeping things. The Greek word is herpeton, which is where we get the same, word herpetology. I wanted to be, as a kid, I wanted to be a herpetologist.
Yeah, you did.
I loved reptiles, lizards, snakes, all that stuff.
You collected them all.
I collected them all. I absolutely loved them. To this day, I pick up any snake that's around and people freak out.
Yeah.
But including her.
Yeah.
But now my boys are like, they're not scared. They'll pick up one too. But anyways, that's where we get this idea of herpetology. It's the study of reptiles. And so this is literally saying, I mean, reptiles are presented to him. Hey, snakes. It says especially snakes. Like the Strong says, herpeton is especially meaning to snakes. So we're talking about 4-footed beasts, wild beasts, and creeping things and fowls of the air. I think it's interesting how it's wild beasts here. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You finish what you were...
Which I think it's interesting because these are not just, I would say 4-footed beasts are almost like the clean beasts. Like he's saying, hey, I've got clean animals here and I've got wild beasts here, unclean animals. Or things like bear, things like that, which would be unclean, but more of a wild kind of creature. But I mean, obviously, this has no meaning unless you're reading Leviticus 11.
Absolutely.
There's nothing here. I mean, who cares if he brings down all these beasts? It would be based on Leviticus 11, like what you can and cannot eat.
Yeah, and I did want to just kind of read that just so we have a little bit of context in terms of how Yah views these animals.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, verse 43, do not make for yourselves anything abominable. Do not make yourselves abominable with any swarming creature and the one swarming, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart, and do not defile yourselves with any swarming creature, the one creeping on the earth. Verse 46, this is the Torah of the beasts and the birds and every living being, the creeping creatures in the waters and of everything that swarms on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that is eaten and the living creature that is not eaten. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, like we were saying, precept upon precept. If I understand that precept and I believe and I have faith and I fear Elohim when I read that, and then I get all the way here to Acts, then I'm going to be like, okay, Peter, what's being said here? And I'm actually going to see what's being said rather than implementing my own ideas, because this creates a stumbling block here. Yah's going to hide his holy things. He's saying, okay, if you don't really want to keep my Torah, you don't really want to eat clean, I'm going to give you actually a way out. I've been told this is the personal favorite. You know, I hate to bring that up, but
No, that came up right when we first started.
yeah.
Believing that the Torah was forever.
Yes, I was, you know, as you know, when you come to Torah, there's a lot of, you know, people, especially if you came out of Christianity, there's a lot of people who are going to come tell you you're totally wrong.
A lot of resistance.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be the biggest proof that Torah's done away with, and I read it as for the first time, because I'd read this before, obviously, as a Christian, growing up in Christian school and Christian church, but I reread it as I was reading it the first time, and I'm like, this is the biggest evidence. Like, it literally tells you the meaning of the dream. Peter says it, I think, 3 times. So, anyways.
Well, and why something we talked about in our study is, you know, we were reading sort of an article written by someone that, you know, believes that this is twofold. And we'll get into the actual dream, of course. But the beliefs that this is twofold, that maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe we should read the next part that actually says
I guess
to
we can
slay
finish
and
it.
eat it. Let me
Yeah,
just
we
read
can
it.
finish it. But I think what something we could just hone in on right here, the Targum actually does make provision for certain reptiles to be eaten. If I'm not mistaken, a flying reptile, which could encompass dragons. I don't know if dragons were clean, but it's a possibility. You have a lot of killing of dragons in medieval times. But let's just take it for what we have right here, the Masoretic Canon, or even Septuagint. Creeping things. This is reptiles.
Sure.
Okay, so reptiles are being shown to him. You know, if you're a Christian, you believe you can eat all things. I mean, no one's got a Gila monster sitting on their table or a python. I mean, how many of y'all want to eat a python? I mean, remember that movie? What's that movie? We don't watch anymore, but Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when they're like, they've got the snakes. It's disgusting. But I mean, that's what mainstream Christianity, the church is teaching, that you can eat.
Well, and the birds of the heaven is interesting because, I mean, there are obviously birds that we can eat.
Sure, not many people are, you know, pulling off the side of the road and slaughtering a vulture to have for dinner.
No.
So, I mean, these are things that there's obviously food and there's not food. You just have to understand that. All things are not made clean here. And I'm going to show you later that if you believe that this makes all food clean, this same chapter would entail that human beings are on this list as well. And it'll come up later as we read, but you would have to assume all flesh is clean. Kill and eat, Peter. Kill you a human being and eat. And I know that's crazy for some people, but we have Andrew and Methodius. Andrew and Matthias, I'm sorry. Andrew and Matthias went to the land of the man-eaters, which was up north, which is, you know, back in the Gog-Magog region. And they went to the land of the man-eaters. And they were going to kill them. They were going to cook them up and eat them. They went to preach the gospel to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is existing today. It was existing then. Human beings were on the menu for some people.
Absolutely.
That's why y'all had to make a law saying, don't eat each other. Obviously, the Nephilim were obsessed with blood. They loved eating humans.
Which is why there is, you know, life is in the blood, and don't eat anything with blood in it.
I mean, we could just keep going on and on. The abomination, the desolation committed by Antiochus Epiphanes and Maccabees, and then later committed by Titus on the Temple Mount with the Suvet Aurelia, which was the killing of a pig on the altar, along with an ox and a lamb. This is an abomination that causes desolation. It's an abomination because you're sacrificing an unclean blood on the holy, set-apart altar for Yahuwah. Okay? If we believe today this is our temple, our bodies are temple, why are we sacrificing pig and eating it and putting it in our temple? Pigs, you know, food in our temple. Not food, but pig's flesh in our temple.
Yeah.
But this doesn't even mention pigs. It specifically mentions reptiles.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, let me keep going. Let me read the next 2 verses because I want to dive into kind of the comparison of animals and humans.
Sure.
Right? And a voice came to him, "Rise up, Kepha, slay and eat." But Kepha said, "Not at all, master, because I have never eaten whatever is common or unclean." So right here, I think is an incredible something that was like sort of an aha. That I was just like, what? So why, the question becomes for me, why is Peter, if Yeshua died and made all things clean, or if there is a new law that's been instituted upon Messiah's Advent and post resurrection, then why is Peter still eating clean after the ascension? If Yeshua himself came to change it and to make things clean, why would even Kefa even say those things?
Yeah.
I've never eaten whatever is common, which common means defiled. Okay, common comes from the word koinos, which is defiled. And if you go back to what I just read in Leviticus 11:43, Yahuwah specifically calls things that are unclean, that they will defile you. They will make you common, or they will defile, or I'm sorry, yeah, they will make you common or defile you. So, and I think you had said, like, we're talking about, like, what, 9 years sort of post Yeshua when Cornelius. I think
Well,
that's
yeah,
kind of
this
what we said.
this would be what the scholars consider Cornelius coming to the faith or being converted would be 36 AD, which depending on when you believe Yeshua was crucified.
Yeah.
I think the majority of scholars would say 27 AD, which would be 9 years after. So you have Peter having a dream 9 years after, telling him you can eat whatever you want. I mean, this is the rock on which Yeshua was going to build his church, and he lived and walked with Yeshua. Would he have not already been told by Messiah, hey, by the way, is that pig over there? You can eat it.
Yeah.
Those pigs that just threw the legion into, those demons, you can eat those. They're falling into the ocean. Go and eat one.
And if it was and if it was just about, and we obviously know we're going to get to the big, light bulb here of what it's really about. But if it was just about food, why can't we just end it right there? Like, in the chapter, right?
Sure.
Shut the book on it. We're done.
Sure,
It's
there's
just
no-
eat whatever. And then he was like, oh yeah, duh, you're right. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no. Just
mean-
in defense of the common Christian interpretation of this is that this is not it's a twofold
It is.
meaning. It's not just about food, but it'd be about Gentiles as well.
Absolutely.
But obviously the food thing is not scriptural at all. It's nowhere to be found in
Yeah.
scripture. You have even Isaiah, I think 65 or 66.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think it's 66. Is there an Isaiah 66 or is it end at
No,
65?
there's Isaiah 66.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's even mentioning the pig and
I'll read
the
it.
mouse, the abomination that they're
Yeah.
going to continue to eat, even in those end times.
Whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations.
That's not the verse I was
that's
talking
not
about,
it.
but that's still good. I mean, it's talking about abominations as being bad. It's
Yeah.
pig's blood. So they're even their good works, bringing a grain offering within in your heart is
Yeah.
just as if you slaughtered something with pig's blood.
I'm sorry, here it is. 65. The flesh of pigs, the broth of unclean meats in their pots. That one?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. I have held out my hands. Oh, let me go back. Here I am to a nation not calling on my name. I've held out my hands all day long to a stubborn people who walk in a way that is not good, after their own thoughts. The people who provoke me continually to my face, who slaughter in gardens and burn incense on slaughter places of brick, who sit among the burial sites and spend the night in secret places, who eat flesh of pigs, and the broth of unclean meat is in their pots, who say, keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am set apart to you. These are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all day.
Except after the new covenant, is what it says.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, it does not say that. Isaiah is saying this is a people who do not listen to me. They're an
Yeah.
abomination because they're eating pig's blood.
Yeah.
They're sacrificing pig and they're eating it. All these evil things. This has always been a bad idea.
Yeah.
And it's always been pushed. I think one of the biggest things for me, if you're still eating unclean animals and you haven't, come to that idea of cleaning up your diet for Yah. We'll take tons of diets in this world. Your carnivore diet, whatever. All these people taking tons of diets
Yeah.
that doctors will tell them to do, but they won't eat of the diet of Yahuwah. He knows your body. He knows exactly what should be in it and what shouldn't. There's reason pigs are not on the menu. I would say there's more reason rather than just being dirty or carrying parasites. There's probably they're probably habitation for unclean spirits as well.
Which is part of parasites. They manifest themselves as parasites.
Yeah, by the way,
Physically.
if this is about man and animals, can spirits be included in this? We still have unclean spirits walking around. I don't think any Christian would deny that there are clean and unclean spirits. So what's up with unclean spirits? Are they not made clean to every creature? The gospel preached to every creature. Cannot unclean spirits be made clean for them to indwell in us?
Well, yeah, completely agree. So two things I want you to cover here, which I think is very important in whichever direction or whichever one we want to come first. The comparison of animals to humans, because I think that's like that this is not just a mere allegory for people, but like that this is an actually about food. But I think us reading Enoch 85 about how people are constantly compared to animals, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
then this is truly about people. This is not about, you know, an animal or about animals or food or what have you. Like this is truly, I don't know. I want you to talk about that. And then I want to also cover what we discussed about it's not what goes in a man that defiles them, right?
Yeah.
Because that's important too here.
Yeah. I mean, real quick before we do get into that,
Okay.
I wanted to touch on
go
what
ahead.
it does say. It says, verse 13, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. That word kill is thuo in the Greek, meaning to sacrifice.
Okay.
This is the same word used for sacrifices. So this is a sacrifice. He's being told to sacrifice. This is, you know, new covenant, post Yeshua, cause a sacrifice to be made.
Yeah.
Now I know any you know Bible read Christian's going to say, well, that's just to have a barbecue. Well, I would agree. It is just to have a barbecue. I think we put so much effort,
Emphasis.
yeah, emphasis, but our own religious bias
Oh, okay.
on sacrifice. It's not as I don't know, not as evil as we've been taught in the Christian church. I think anyone doing a sacrifice outside of Yeshua, it's shunned. You should never have a sacrifice again. And this is all based on about 3 verses in Hebrews. I think it's Hebrews 7. There's 2 verses in Hebrews 7. But it's based on, if we read the entire Torah, like I said, precept upon precept, line upon line, you understand that sacrifices are forever, even in the Septuagint, the Levitical priesthood. Carried on by the Zadoks, who are the only one to keep the charge, are forever. That's Septuagint, Masoretic, just for any of those who want to, you know, say it's different. They're to be carried on forever on this earth is an earthly priesthood, while the Melchizedek is a heavenly priesthood, a spiritual priesthood. They both exist side by side. They are not against each other. They are the exact same. The earthly always being a shadow of what is heavenly or spiritual. So you have a terrestrial shadow of something extraterrestrial. That's with everything. And my goodness, I mean, every single thing we do is a picture, like the family. You know, I'm the husband, you're my wife. This is a picture of what's actually going on in the heavens. And us having sons. The only begotten Son of the Father, Yeshua Messiah. These are pictures of what actually happens in the heavens.
Yeah.
I went way off on there, but anyways,
No,
it's
it's
actually
good.
telling him to sacrifice. So I'm just saying, like, I'm just gonna, if we believe that this is to do with animals being made clean, we need to also address this word, to sacrifice. He's telling you to sacrifice. I want you to spill the blood of a pig. And obviously Peter would be like, whoa, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not even supposed to touch an unclean animal.
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to do this. Like, why? Like, this will make me unclean, Father. Why would I sacrifice a pig? Why would I do what Antiochus Epiphanes did, what Titus did? Why would I do these things? You know? And so, I mean, that would be a big question.
People
if I
lost
would,
their lives. I mean, Yehuda Maccabee,
yeah, there's a
countless
reason that was
lives.
taken out of your Bibles. Okay, there's a reason the Maccabees are not included in the Christian canon. Well, I mean, I don't want to say Christian canon. I think it is in the Catholic canon, but in the KJV and things like that, these things have been taken out. So that way, you didn't realize, no one realized that 150 years pre-Messiah, people are getting slaughtered and actually, I mean, completely tormented, horrible, acts. And I think it's Maccabees, Second Maccabees, but just horrible events for not eating pig. They didn't even want to act like it. The Eleazar, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's an old man. They're basically saying, hey, just act like it's. We'll tell everyone it's beef, but it's not going to be actually pork.
Yeah.
Or I think, no, I'm sorry. We're going to tell everyone it's pork, but it's going to actually be beef. So you won't be messing up here. And he's like, no, I'm not even going to act like I'm committing an abomination here.
Yeah.
So this was a big deal up until Messiah, and even after Messiah. Right here, we have possibly 9 years after, and Peter's still like, no, not so, Lord.
Yeah, but also he was. I think it also. I mean, here's an assumption I'm going to make. Just reading it, he was following the dietary laws of Leviticus 11, but he was also eating meat. This would
Sure.
imply, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
he also ate meat. I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about a couple, like, I'm not gonna say epiphany, by the way, anymore. I almost said epiphany again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have one of those. But I mean, wouldn't that imply that he did eat meat?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah. No.
I mean, this isn't about that, but I do think that there's, ideas out there that, that we were never intended to eat meat, and that's probably true. But to say that we're commanded to not eat meat, anyways, that's a whole different thing. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things within Torah. It's provision. There's commandments for things that maybe y'all didn't and never intended. I don't think we were intended to wear tzitzits.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think we were intended to wear tzitzits. But why do we? It's a law given because of our disobedience.
Sure.
So is it? I think it's imperative. I think it is a law to wear tzitzits. But if you're keeping the commandments,
Yeah.
I mean.
I just think there's provision to eat meat.
Sure. Yeah. It's provision. Whether or not it
There's
was
provision.
originally intended, yes.
Yeah. Also, something else. Just rereading verse 14. We haven't really talked about this, but it says a voice. So he's having this. He's in this trance. In the Greek, it's ecstasis. It makes me think kind of like this. I think ecstasy sort of state, the sort of out of body sort of state, right? And it says a voice came to him saying, "Rise up," and he said, "Not at all, Master." So is this Yeshua? Who's speaking to him here? Because he says Master. Or he says Yahuwah. I don't know. That's just something, I don't know. I just read it and I'm like, well, who's speaking to him here? This isn't necessarily a messenger, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Not so, Lord. I mean, I think there is some premeditated confusion inserted into the text when we insert Lord, when it could be Master, or it could be Yahuwah. I think it was kind of a Trinitarian mindset to insert this into the text, but I don't know. I mean, I think like what were you kind of saying? Like, could this be Yeshua talking?
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking, who is this? Because we know a messenger, an angel came to Cornelius, but I guess let's see, the word Lord is Kyrios, God, Lord, Master, Sir. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe it was inserted text.
Well, no, I meant just the meaning of it is inserted, not necessarily that it's not Lord, but you go to the verse 15, it says, "What God hath cleansed, thou shalt not call thou common." So Elohim has cleansed it. He's not saying himself, "What I have cleansed."
Yeah.
He's saying, "What Elohim has cleansed,
That's right.
don't call common." And so
that's just a sidebar thought.
What was it that you told me to talk about, and then
so
10 minutes later I went somewhere else?
Well, I think it's important to kind of go down the slay and eat part, but I did want you to talk about
the Enoch.
Well, and this is go there, and then we'll come back to verse 15 because it says what Elohim has cleansed, you do not consider common, which is important because I think we need to kind of go over something that you said that was important about whether we eat clean or not, we're already defiled, right?
Sure.
But anyway, so can you talk a little bit about sort of the comparison of animals to humans and why that's very common?
This is not the first time that animals have been put forward to represent humans. We have, maybe the first time, I don't know, but at least what we have written is Enoch. Was it Enoch
85 through 90?
85 through 90. Yeah, we did a video called The Cow Prophecy. You can go back and look at that. And it's, or you can just go read Enoch. 85 through 90. I don't want your video.
But we did a video talking very in depth about it,
Yeah, and it kind of puts forth this idea that the millennial kingdom started right after Messiah. There's no 2,000-year gap, which is what you find in all of, that's the biggest, to me, aha moment is there's no 2,000 gap in prophecy. But anyways, so multiple times throughout prophecies or visions, animals are shown as humans. So they'll use animals to kind of reference a human being. Even right up into what we know as the Antichrist, or the lawless one, is a beast. It's the animal. If you read the Hebrew Revelation, it talks about it calls it the animal, not the beast. And so, anyways, when we're looking at Enoch 85 through 90, it references Adam being a cow, a white cow, and Cain being another cow. I think Adam's a red cow. I'm sorry, and I can't remember.
But they're not animals.
They're not animals. Obviously, Adam's not a cow. But then you have descendants from them being donkeys. You have descendants being vultures, and then Jacob comes, and you have them being sheep. After Jacob, they were known as sheep. And you have them being horses. I think the angels are known as horses
I
there.
mean, Yeshua himself is referred to as a lamb. I mean, just even
Sure.
outside of
Oh,
the
yeah,
law.
that's good too. Yeah,
I
Yeshua
mean-
is the Lamb who was slain to take away the sin of the earth,
Yeah.
which is an incredible thing. He's obviously not a lamb.
Yeah, he's not a lamb. Daniel, just go through a couple. I mean, there's examples in Daniel, right?
Sure. Yeah, examples of Daniel. They call, I think it's Daniel 7. We just went through it, or Daniel 11. I can't remember because they're both kind of the same prophecy. But Darius is a goat, and there's a he goat, or a ram that comes and basically destroys Darius, knocks him down, and that's Alexander the Great. Obviously, they're not goats. You know, obviously, there's not a lamb here, but it's just animals being referenced as human beings.
Yeah, and that's what this is. I mean, this is what we're dealing with.
Sure, I think it's the sons of Ishmael in Enoch being called donkeys. Obviously, we can't just go and eat the sons of Ishmael, because if they're made clean, or sheep being clean and they're the sons of Jacob. I mean, you don't. It doesn't mean they're made clean. It's just it's a reference to that. So clearly, all throughout Scripture, there's probably way more instances than just that.
Yeah.
Of there being the beast, Daniel's vision in 2, when Nebuchadnezzar, and you can read in Second Esdras 14, or no, Second Esdras 12, where it talks about this vision. It talks about them being these beasts that are to rule all nations and the kingdoms. The beasts are the people. They're the leaders of these kingdoms. Nebuchadnezzar being the first one, the head. Nebuchadnezzar is referred to as a beast.
Yeah.
And then you have right up into the 4th beast, you have all these kingdoms being led by a beast. We were talking about, I think you were saying being defiled.
Yeah, well, what Yeshua says in Matthew, I pulled it up, Matthew 15:11, he says, not that which goes into the mouth that defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man.
Yeah.
It's really like but go ahead. I don't want to take it from you.
Well, no. I think, like Yeshua's teachings, I'm not going to, just do videos upon videos. Obviously, he's speaking in parables most of the time. And why? Because his holy things are set aside. They're hidden. They're hidden. They're for kings to search out. It's their honor to search them out.
It's for his glory that he hides them.
It's for his glory. Yeah, he's not going to just give his pearls to swine. There's another reference to swine being unclean. He's not going to give them to them. So if you want to search for the pearl here in Acts 10, it's not going to be right out in front of you. And most of y'all's things are not way out in front of you. I said this just this week. Most of the amazing things to be found in Scripture, the reason they're not so clear is because they're not meant to be told, they're meant to be lived. So so it's impossible, like I said, it's impossible I was trying to think of a good idea to say it, like a comparison, but it's not possible for me to talk to a teenager about how to raise a family and have multiple kids, and this is how you do it, and this is what you expect. They won't understand the same way I can't understand my grandparents. My grandparents were 90 years old just this past year, and they died this past year, or a year and a half or so. They're 90 years old. There's things and wisdom that they've lived and that they understand. And when they speak about it, I'm like, oh yeah. But I don't really understand until I reach their age and get the fullness of what they're talking about. So a lot of these concepts that especially Yeshua is talking about in parables and the concepts within Torah, they're meant to be lived out. That's why you can't just read it in a book and say, oh, this is what it's all about. I mean, yes, you can find it in the book, but a lot of these concepts have to be lived out and they have to be understood with a life of balance. So I think when the more you're in Torah or Christianity, whatever, the more you live, you understand that, there's a balance to everything. Okay. Let's go on. I could sit here and talk about it too long, but okay.
All right. So, verse 16, and this took place 3 times, and the vessel was taken back to the heavens. 3 times he received this vision, right? And while Kepha was doubting within himself about what the vision might mean, hold on. And while Kepha was doubting within himself about what the vision might mean, look, the men who have been sent from Cornelius have asked for the house of Shimon, stood at the gate. And calling out, they inquired whether Shimon, also known as Kepha, was staying there. And as Kepha was thinking about the vision, the Spirit came to him. See, 3 men seek you. So here we have the set apart spirit telling him.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing too, like that he was doubting.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
good.
kind of gives some humanity to Peter.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Peter doubted, and I mean, I just think it's incredible if we're going to say that he walked with the Messiah, and Messiah had nothing to tell him about. Hey, by the way, I'm going to make all things clean.
Yeah.
You can eat bacon right after I'm crucified. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
You're free to do that.
Yeah.
Let me just, while we're on the subject, let me just throw this out there.
Okay.
Okay. Let's play. I'm going to play the Christian's advocate. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll say Christian. I'm picking on Christians. It's not all Christians, and it's definitely not first century Christians.
Well, they're not listening, so
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not listening. Yes.
but they're not watching.
I should say modern day Christianity. So I'm gonna just be their advocate right here and say, okay, yeah, this is teaching that we can eat all things now. This is the new covenant. Because of the death of Messiah, he nailed it to the cross. We can now eat whatever we would like. Okay, the menu is now open, whatever you want. Even herpeton, which is snakes.
Herpetons.
Even them herpetons, them reptiles. Okay, even you can eat those. You can eat whatever you want. Okay, what else? What else did Yeshua nail to the cross?
Okay.
Well, if I'm a modern day Christian, I would say food, unclean foods. We can eat unclean foods now. He also nailed those horrible feast days to the cross. Those rest days where Yahuwah told us to relax and not have to labor. It's like an actual gift to us.
Yeah.
Those rest days we can run.
They're also called, I think, holy convocations, where it's a set apart day to spend him and us, right?
Yeah.
Those are those things that are very holy and sacred to him. He said.
Yeah. A day where we can appointment for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's get rid of those. We don't have to do those. They're not even fun anyways because we got Christmas. It's amazing. We can buy gifts for a bunch of people and spend way too much money.
Yeah.
We have Christmas. We have Easter where we can have an Eastern ham and Easter ham. We have Halloween. It's amazing. Trunk or treat. It's incredible. These things that we can do now. We don't have to follow those feast days. What else?
Yeah.
What else did he do away with? Well, the Sabbath, we can throw that in there. It's not the weekly Sabbath. Yeshua is our Sabbath. Jesus is our Sabbath
That's
now.
right.
Every day is a rest day. Or every day is holy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a verse too where it says there's a verse and you might know it off the top of your head, but it says not making the it's like people are not going to make a difference between the unclean and clean.
This is Ezekiel.
And the profane and the I can't remember. The profane and holy. It's not making a difference between those. Okay, so I'm trying to think of anything else that modern day Christianity would say Yeshua nailed to the cross.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I'm sure there's a lot.
Okay, but let's just think about this. So we have those few things that he nailed to the cross. What about murder? Did he nail that to the cross? I mean, can we still murder? Obviously not. Adultery is still forbidden.
Yeah.
We couldn't commit adultery. What else? What about bestiality outside the 10? Bestiality, is that okay? Homosexuality outside the 10?
Sure, yeah.
It's mentioned a little bit in the New Testament. But bestiality is definitely not mentioned in the New Testament.
Yeah, okay.
How about sleeping with a person, like your sister?
Cousin.
Like a cousin, a sister, or whatever. Is that okay now? No. These are still Torah commands that we still need to do. What about Acts 15? Don't eat things strangled or with blood. Don't eat the blood of something. This is in Leviticus and in Deuteronomy. These are still Levitical laws that are still enacted.
Yeah.
What else?
They're still in play.
I'm just trying to think of what else still would be in play for the Christian church, the modern day Christian church.
Yeah.
Everything else. Yeah. So, what modern day Christianity is doing is boiling down Yeshua's death on the cross. The only reason he died was so that we could eat bacon and that we have to do Christmas now. I mean, that's it. Yeah. It's only to get rid of the only command he told us to remember was the Sabbath. And his Sabbaths,
his
holy days, all the feast days, and unclean animals. I know a lot of commenters, Christian commenters, that will get on and will say, they kind of harp on Torah observant people and say they're always focused on feast days and unclean, eating unclean and clean. Well, yeah, that's what we're focused on because that's the only thing modern day Christianity absolutely does. Yeah, they don't want to get rid of their pigs. Yeah. Or their pork or anything that's unclean. And then they don't want to get rid of their traditions to take on the feast days of Yah.
Yeah.
And so I just like, if we're really thinking about this, Yeshua died on the cross. According to modern day Christianity, Yeshua died on the cross so that we can eat bacon. We're free now. We have liberty in Yeshua and Jesus. Liberty in Jesus to eat pork, to eat pythons, electric eels, vultures, whatever you want. It's all on the menu now. Human beings, for that matter. And that we don't have to do the set apart holy days of Yah, which are such a blessing. They're incredible. So, I mean, I think that is a huge deal.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, we were talking, that's so good. We were talking about, well, yeah, I just, yeah, I think all of that is, I was kind of curious, you know, I Googled, I was like, okay, so what do people think, like the view of like the old covenant versus the new covenant? What is it really, right? Like you said, kind of what it boils down to. And people can't get their mind wrapped around, obviously sacrifices too, I think, are just a big deal, which we won't go there again, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we need to do a whole
priest.
video on that if you're interested. I don't even know if people want to talk
Sure.
about it. I think it would be kind of controversial. I don't think people like sacrifices, but I mean, I think sacrifices are
Yeah.
great. They're a picture of Messiah.
But I do think people, common idea, I hate to say that word common now that I really understand what common means, but idea, you know, and I think something that we believed is that the Torah was written on stone and now it's written on our hearts, right? Which then, if you believe that, would truly mean that you are following the whole thing. It didn't change, it shouldn't have changed it, right? It just imprinted it on your heart.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just incredible to me, some of the things that I think I probably even I don't know if inherently believed or I was inherently taught growing up, you know, about like, you know, we were slaves to sin and now we're free from sin, you know, like sin no longer has a hold on us. There's no power on us, because of Jesus' death, I'm like, wait a minute. So we're sinless now because of his death. You don't sin. You don't think bad thoughts. You don't have anger in your heart. I mean, it's just, it's beyond me, because we're in a Matthew study right now, and everything Yeshua, what we said, I think in one of our last videos, is that he, you know, he magnifies the Torah, but he enlarges it. He increases, he creates that higher standard for it. And so, yeah, there's so many things outside of the 10 that Yeshua talks about. I mean, we were just reading about when he cleansed the leper. There were laws in place for leprosy. He knew them. The leper knew them. Those are Levitical laws that were still in place, that I don't believe changed upon his death. And sacrifice. He told the leper, the cleansed man, now that you're cleansed, go and take your offering to the temple, to the priest, to make the sacrifice, to make you clean, basically. You know, and so I just, it's hard to sort of, I don't know, I was just trying to piggyback. I was just trying to.
That's an interesting piggyback.
I know.
It's a very unclean term.
It's a very unclean term. I was just trying to jump on that train with you a little bit and just say, you know, I mean, it's, you know, we don't serve a loving Father who isn't also a just Elohim, and we don't follow a lawless Messiah who did away with his, you know, only the Father's, you know, eternal Torah. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, his words are the Father's words.
His words are the Father's words. Yeah, you said that.
I think there's like, we could go on and on about the new covenant, old covenant. If people are interested in that, maybe we could do something on that. I don't know. I just feel like people have their mind made up about what that is, and we don't need to change that. I just feel like, you know, let's just simplify it. The new covenant is the Torah written on your heart. So how can the Torah be written on your heart and then at the same time done away with? I remember that meme by Rob Skiba. He had a man like looking. I don't want to talk about that. But it was a funny meme. It was really funny. But anyways, I don't want to describe it because people will be like, what? Okay. Hey, I did want to read this. This is a book.
So we were talking about Peter doubting.
Yeah, Peter was doubting what this dream meant. And if we could just read this real quick. This is a letter of Peter to James. It's an extra biblical text. And it says, and this is Peter talking. Let's see. Peter's talking about how he doesn't want to write anymore. Mm-hmm. This is why we don't have writings of Peter. We don't have really hardly anything. He's saying, I don't want to write because they're changing my words. This is what he says. For some from among the Gentiles have rejected my lawful preaching and I preferred a lawless and absurd doctrine of the man who is my enemy. That's very interesting. I think this is, if we keep reading in Clement, it definitely appears to be Simon Magus, who was preaching the same gospel, but lawless, a lawless gospel, the way we didn't have to follow Sabbath, feast days, things like that. We could eat whatever we want. That's what Simon Magus was teaching, the magician. I mean, I don't think this is something that we want to align with, but definitely his teaching sprung forward from the same root that's spoken about in Kaledi, when you would have from the same root, from Yeshua being the root, two teachings would spring forward, one lawless, one lawful. But it could be, it goes later on, the scholars kind of agree this could be Shaul, could be Paul, preaching in a lawless doctrine, and that him and Simon Magus were kind of, Simon Magus was pretending to be Paul in a lot of his letters, which is interesting. It says, and indeed some have attempted whilst I am still alive to distort my words by interpretations of many sorts, as if I taught the disillusion of the Torah. And although I was of this opinion, did not express it openly, but that may Elohim forbid. Okay, so I think this is really interesting. Obviously, this could be a stumbling block right here. I could say, oh, it looks like Peter thought maybe the law was done away with, which is how the law appears when you understand the spiritual connection of the law. When you first read Yeshua's words, they do kind of appear, like especially Matthew 5, like, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but I tell you, turn the other cheek.
That's right.
Is he doing away with the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth? Well, if you say that, then you have to go couple of previous verses before. He says, you've heard it say, thou shalt not kill your brother. But I say, if you have hate in your brother, in your heart for your brother, you've already killed him already. So is he doing away with murder? No, he's not doing away with murder. Neither is he doing away with eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Eye for an eye is the law. Tooth for tooth is the law. It's set in stone. This is what happens if you take someone's eye out.
Yeah.
But if that happens to you, don't go out and seek the eye of your enemy. It would be even better for you to forgive them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing nowadays. I mean, if someone does something to us, the law might say, oh, you're going to jail. But I could say, no, I'm not going to press charges. I'm gonna forgive him and not press charges. Boom, he's free.
Yeah.
So that is the higher law. When we talk about the spiritual law of the new covenant, following Yeshua in the new covenant is a spiritual law. It's a higher law.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to keep the spiritual law than it is the letter of the law. The letter of the law is not done away with, but spiritual law just makes it harder. It's way more difficult.
Well, and I just want to read this because when we mention what comes out of a man defiles him, in Mark 7, he goes on to say, from within, out of the heart of men proceeds evil reasonings, adulteries, whorings, murders, thefts, greed, all of those things. All of these wicked matters comes from within and defiles the man, right? It comes from a wicked heart.
Out of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of these are against the law.
Yes.
Everything he mentions against the law. So obviously he's not doing away with any of the law, not even food.
No.
But it's what comes out of someone that actually defiles them. I mean, people would say, oh no, Yeshua made all things clean. They added that in the text, just make sure you get, read the actual Greek. But if you want to say Yeshua made all things clean, I mean, is it really clean? Can I really go out and eat a blowfish right now? I mean, they're poisonous.
No,
Can I eat a lionfish? They don't have scales. Can I eat them?
Yeah.
It will kill me.
Yeah.
Can I go out and, I mean, he didn't make all foods clean. Even the clean foods. I mean, we could say, I mean, can I sit here and eat 10 burgers in one day? I might get a heart attack,
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Let me just finish reading this. It says, for to do such a thing, so he's talking about getting rid of the law. For to do such a thing means to act contrary to the Torah of Elohim, which was made known by Moses and was confirmed by our Lord in its everlasting continuance.
Amen.
For he said, the heaven and the earth will pass away, but one jot or one tittle shall not pass away from the Torah. I think this is incredible. So even Peter was doubting a little bit that maybe the law is done away with. So you see Peter even saw that stumbling block. And instead of stumbling over it, he hurtled over it. And that's what these stumbling blocks are. I mean, if we're on this narrow path, think about it. We're on a narrow path. The road is hard pressed.
Yeah.
It's not a highway.
Right.
The highway leads to destruction.
Not smooth.
Yeah.
Easy.
The narrow path is not smooth. It's hard. There are rocks. There are stumbling blocks set in the way. So be like Peter. instead of stumbling over them,
Yeah.
think about them. You can think about it and you can search it out. And when we read our text and we really search it out, we understand that we can hurdle over these stumbling blocks because the word of Elohim stands forever. And so anyways, so I just think it's interesting. Peter's doubting right here. He doesn't know. He's like, what in the world? I got this vision. What's going on?
Yeah.
And even here he's doubting, is the law done away with? Maybe it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of some weird things Yeshua's teaching.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
But he said, God forbid, because Yeshua himself said the law is forever, even every jot and every tittle. This includes every tiny law, the tiniest, one of the tiniest being sacrifices, honestly. Sacrifices being one of the tiniest, one of the jots.
Sure.
Okay? But even that's not done away with. It's all forever. Okay? So we start with that the law is eternal, and then we move on to the rest of the text. What does Hebrews mean? What does Hebrews 7 mean? What does Acts 15? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree. We are going, this is going to be a long one.
44 minutes, man. I thought this was going to be short. I was like, I think we had 30 minutes. Of course, this is...
We'll
man.
see how much I can read, and then maybe we'll just read until we think we can.
Well, let's just
do a
get to
chunk.
the...
You want to?
Let's just get maybe to the end of what it means and everything. Yeah, just keep reading.
Okay.
We'll finish it.
All right. So, and I think this is important because he's, the Spirit sending him 3 men. He's had 3 visions here. So Kepha went down, verse 21, to the men who had been sent to him from Cornelius and said, "Look, I am the one you seek. Why have you come?" And they said, "Cornelius the captain, a righteous man and one who fears Elohim, and well spoken of by the entire nation," there it is, of the Jews.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Well respected.
Well respected,
Was
yeah.
instructed by a set apart messenger to send for you to his house and to hear words from you. So inviting the men, he housed them, and on the next day Kepha went away with him, and some brothers from Yaffo went with him. And the following day they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius was waiting for them, having called together his relatives and close friends. And it came to be that when Kepha entered, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and bowed before him. But Kepha raised him up, saying, "Stand up, I myself also am a man." And talking with him, he went in and found many who had come together. And he said to them, "You know that a Yehudi man is not allowed to associate with or go to one of another race. But Elohim has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean."
Okay, so
That's good.
right here, Elohim has shown him. Obviously, in verse 19, it says, while Peter thought on the vision.
Yeah.
So he's still thinking about the vision. The Spirit said unto him, "Behold, 3 men seek thee."
Mm-hmm.
And then you all of a sudden you said, verse 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elohim has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. It's not saying, the reason he's confused about this dream is the animals.
Sure.
It confused him.
Yeah.
Just like it confuses Christians.
Because his knee-jerk reaction was, I've never eaten anything.
Yeah,
unclean or
his
common."
knee-jerk reaction, you're right, is
Yeah.
to, am I supposed to be eating unclean things now? This is weird. This
Sure.
can't be right. And we pair it, obviously, with the writing of Peter to James. He said, God forbid, Elohim forbid that the law given down by Moses and confirmed by our Master Messiah would ever be done away with. It is eternal.
Mm-hmm.
So he understands now, because Elohim has shown him, that this is all about man.
Yeah.
And if we're going to say that, I would say that the common modern day Christianity, once again, I'm not putting down any Christians or anyone who believes differently from this text, but modern day Christianity, if they're going to say that this is about food, they would have to account for this, that the dream also means no man is to be unclean. And so that would entail that the man would also be on that sheet.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
animals and men,
Yeah.
because he's saying, don't call anything I have made clean unclean.
Yeah.
They're all for you,
Yeah.
animals and man.
Mm-hmm.
So if man is being made clean, then we can be cannibals.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just take this out as far as it'll go
Yeah.
here.
If there's a literal interpretation
Yeah.
and an allegorical or a more deeper
Spiritual,
spiritual meaning
deep,
to
yeah.
it, let's go there.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
it really mean?
This would really mean that the flesh
Yeah.
of man has been made clean to eat. You can now barbecue a human being. And you can sacrifice this. This is not an abomination anymore. I know that's kind of crazy, but that's what we're saying. By saying this actually means that, this is not about food. This is the reason I think Paul is the one that writes their God is their belly. It's because they worship what they desire to eat. And they won't let it go.
And
It's
that's
so strong that it's holding, like we mentioned in our last video, we have a church down the road that has a pig. They have barbecue right out in front. They have a big pink pig sitting out in front of the church. What an abomination. It's actually, it's kind of horrible that you're calling this assembly a place where the word of Elohim is preached.
truth.
And you're okay with sacrificing a pig on the same grounds? It's wickedness. But anyways, let's move ahead.
That is why I come without hesitation when I was sent for. So I asked, why you sent for me? And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. And at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and see, a man stood before me in shining garments and said, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your kind deeds, your almsgiving, were remembered before Elohim. Now send to Yaffo and call Shimon here, who is called Kepha. He is staying in the house of Shimon, a leather tanner by the sea. When he comes, he shall speak to you. So I sent to you immediately, and you have done well to come. And now we are all present before Elohim, to hear all that you have been commanded by Elohim. And opening his mouth, Kepha said, truly I see that Elohim shows no partiality. But in every nation, he who fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him.
This is amazing, because this is
Go ahead, yeah.
truly what we see in the entirety of Scripture. It's not just after Yeshua, but it's being retaught. Like you said before in Isaiah, Yeshua is to magnify the Torah. This is what the Torah is about. That every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness, is accepted with him. Elohim is not a respecter of persons. He chose Israel or the Hebrews because they were lowly. They were slaves. He chose them to re-give his Torah. Torah existed before Mount Sinai. In the Targum, the Torah was given to the Moabites, to the Edomites, also to Ishmaelites, and they all rejected it. They all didn't want it. So then he chose a lowly people and gave it to the Israelites. And we find this with so many people. We mentioned Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was chosen by Elohim because he was, after he was humbled, he fell down and worshipped and said, I worship the Elohim of your Elohim, Daniel. Your Elohim, Daniel. The Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Pharaoh baptized by Abraham.
Pharaoh, the writings of Abraham. Pharaoh and all of Egypt got circumcised and baptized by Abraham. You have many instances. Cyrus, a king of Persia, was called, in Isaiah calls him the Messiah. He's an anointed by Yahuwah. He's chosen by Yahuwah. You also have Alexander the Great in the Alexandrian Chronicle and some other writings. I think it's the Letters of Alexander. He's worshiping Elohim. He actually goes to destroy Jerusalem, falls down before the priests, and realizes that is their Elohim is Yah. He is the creator, and he starts worshiping Elohim.
In Zephaniah 2, all the mighty ones of the earth shrivel the coastlands, and nations bow to him, each one in their own place.
I love that, because mine's, I think the King James says pagan nations. The pagan places of the Gentiles were all going to worship him. This is after the temple destroyed. It's a millennial kingdom kind of idea when people say, well, how could Rome have done this? Like with these cathedrals, they're not worshiping Yah. Yeah, it says, it's actually prophesied in Zephaniah that this would happen in Zephaniah 2:11. Yeah, like you just read, that all the coasts, all the islands, even the places the pagans are going to worship him. This is why the pantheon was changed to worship Yahuwah, not the pantheon of Rome or the gods of Rome. And many other places, many of these cathedrals were made for evil reasons. But then were dedicated to Yah later on. And then you have also, I've got a bunch of verses here. We don't have to read them all. But you have even Isaiah 60, when it talks about Gentiles at the temple, what I believe is the third temple, still standing. It was a temple made for prayer for all nations. So all nations were allowed to enter it. Holy, I mean, you had to be holy to enter it. It's not like you just walk through it and bring a pig in there and sacrifice it.
They were converts.
Yeah, you can't do that. You had to be converted. It's just saying that all people who feared Elohim, and that's a big thing. These people who fear Elohim and work righteousness is accepted with him.
Who was the example in here? Cornelius. He was literally he was a convert. He was what we would consider a Gentile convert here. But you know, everything that he did, his prayers, his almsgiving, everything came up as a remembrance before Elohim. Um, you know, because it says he feared Elohim. He was dedicated. He was
Yeah.
loyal to Yah's word. You know?
Yeah, and this is
And it's
fearing
why
Elohim. Oh, go ahead.
It was just I'm saying that's why he was used. You know, as sort of an example for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it doesn't say everyone who fears him and had faith. It says everyone who fears him and works righteousness. There's a requirement here. Now, yeah, I'm not saying we can get into faith and works and all that stuff, but that's not what this is about. But it actually is there's a requirement of you. Even faith itself requires you to believe on the only begotten Son of Elohim, or to believe Yah's word, whatever you're going to have faith in. But there's someone who works righteousness. And if you don't know this, but by now, define Scripture with Scripture. I would assume most of y'all know that, and most of y'all have come to that realization. I remember when I came to that realization, I realized that, oh my goodness, I can define these terms with the book. The book defines them for me. Psalm 119, 172 says, my tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. So his commandments, if we want to know what righteousness, what's working righteousness, what does that mean? It means working of the commandments. So everyone that fears Elohim and works his commandments is accepted with him. So obviously, we're all not perfect. We keep the commandments, but we mess up. There are commandments right now that we haven't learned to keep, we're ignorant to, or maybe commandments we're keeping that we're ignorant in how we're keeping them. Are we accepted before Yah? Were we accepted 10 years ago when we didn't know anything about the Torah, but we were trying to live good? We were going to church. We were doing what we thought is right. Yeah, we feared him.
Yeah.
We feared him. I don't think he respects you based on your knowledge, but it is because of knowledge that my people perish.
Yes.
Destruction's coming to those without knowledge.
Yes.
That's why we're on here.
Yeah.
Trying to be a light. Hopefully we can impart something from the scriptures to bring knowledge to other people, so that way we understand, wow, these things like eating unclean, that actually destroys us, actually is killing our body. And if the devil, who comes to kill, steal, and destroy, if he can kill you and get you off this earth, that's less you can talk about the word.
Yeah. Well, and the part, I just wanted to, the tail end of that verse,
And my hair was sticking
Oh,
out.
I'm sorry. The tail end of Hosea 4:6. It's not just they perish for lack of knowledge because they forgot the Torah. I mean, that's sort of the so what of all this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. They perish because it was because they forgot the Torah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good, because that verse it literally is, you're destroyed. You perish because of that. Because you don't have the
Especially for
Torah.
fighting against it. I think that's the biggest problem right now, is fighting against the things that are sacred to Yah, that are holy to Yah, that are important to Yah, that set us apart in Him.
Yeah.
Those are the things that matter. Like you said, those are the jots and the tittles. I mean, you can follow those all day long, but if your heart is wicked and your words are awful and everything else, it's meaningless. It is this whole idea of worshiping in spirit and in truth. But that is really the heart of it, is they forgot his ways, and I think he's allowed a lot of it to be hidden now.
Yeah.
And to become stumbling blocks. All right.
You want to keep going, or is this the gist of it?
I think this is the gist of it. I think we could keep going, and if anybody wants us to kind of dive, I mean, we spent quite a bit of time, going through this ourselves. I mean, I can keep reading, or we can stop there. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Anyone can continue to read this, but I don't think there's much more. He tells you right here. It tells you, it's very simple. Obviously, if our flesh doesn't want to follow the Torah, okay, your flesh is always against the Torah.
Yeah.
Just as Paul writes about, it's enmity against the law of Elohim. So your flesh doesn't want to follow Torah. So if you read this, and if you're living in the flesh, there's a good chance your flesh wants to believe that the law is done away with right here. And it's possible, because we are in the flesh, so it's possible to believe that. I can see how Christians sit here and say, oh, see, we can eat anything, But if we just believe based on previous precepts that have been handed down by the hand of Elohim, written on stone, on the sapphire stones of the covenant, and handed to Moses on a burning mountain that floated up in the air, we believe those words. I mean, that was a pretty amazing event. It was only the children of... starts with Z.
Zero, zero,
No,
no.
the sons of Korah. I'm sorry,
I
Korah.
was like,
Starts with a K. The sons of Korah.
You're way off.
It's only the sons of Korah that actually saw these things and didn't believe it.
Yeah,
Korah's rebellion. Okay, they didn't believe the words of Moses.
yeah,
All right, and so Yeshua himself said, if you don't believe the words of Moses, then you're not going to even believe if the Son of Man came down and died for the people. And so you're like, like modern day Christianity would say, of course they believe in Yeshua. Well, do you? Do you believe in the real Yeshua?
yeah.
The reasons for him having to die? I mean, it's just, to me, it's like, it's so out in the open, so easy to see. And that's something I think especially when you come to Torah and then you reread some of these things, you're like, oh my goodness, like this is what this means, because it tells you right here. And trying to explain that to someone who is not there yet in their mind, you have to wait for the Ruach HaKodesh to open up their heart, open up their mind to where they're willing to hear it. As long as we desire to hold on to our sin, our fleshly desires, we will not hear the word of Elohim.
Yeah.
It's at least harder to hear the word of Elohim. I'm not saying Elohim can wake us up, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's harder to hear.
Yeah, and we just, I think we're just trying to plant seeds. We're just.
Well, the seed is the word of Elohim. Yeah.
So we're just here reading, reading sort of a vision, a story that happened in the New Testament, but it's really comes all the way back to the foundation, to, like you said, the precepts, to the truth. And that's all we want to do is just to kind of share not our perspective, but I mean the true understanding of this, what it is, what it means.
Well, I think it too. It's interesting that Christians and modern day Christianity. Again, I'm not messing with Christians, but like modern day Christianity and Judaism believe the same thing. Modern day Christianity and the Pharisees believe the same thing. Modern day Judaism believes that Yeshua and the disciples did away with the Torah. That's why they don't accept them. Okay, they believe they did away with the Torah, which would make, according to Deuteronomy 14, it would make them a false prophet, pulling them away from the commandments of Elohim to serve other Elohim. So they believe because of their Torah that Yeshua and the apostles all did away with the commandments of Elohim, and they were no longer, Torah was not applicable anymore, which is exactly what Christianity believes. Christianity believes the same thing. They are accusing Paul, accusing Stephen, and Peter of doing away with the Torah. That's what they believe. That's the same reason Stephen was stoned, same reason Paul was killed. Well, I don't know about Paul being killed, but it's the same reason they brought him before the council in Acts later on, giving him false accusations, saying him, hey, you're doing away with the Torah. And he proved them all wrong by keeping the Torah. But I just think, like, when you realize that if you take that approach that, oh yeah, Peter's doing away with the Torah here, he's telling us it's okay, Levitical law doesn't exist anymore. If he's saying that according to Deuteronomy, he's a false prophet. But if he is actually saying that, if you believe that, you're believing the same thing Judaism believes. You're believing the same thing the Pharisees believed. They all accused them of not keeping the law. And therefore they tried to kill him. And therefore they didn't even believe him. So you're only putting fire on the problem, right? Adding fuel to the flame.
Yeah,
that's
pouring gasoline onto a fire.
Yeah,
really. Yeah,
that's all you're doing.
Creating a bigger problem.
Sure. Yeah. I think if we all were like, okay, I think they are teaching the law, and they're teaching us how to follow it better, which was always the case. I mean, even Abraham. Abraham was considered righteous because he kept the commandments, but there's also the same, the verse 2, he's considered righteous because he had faith. So there's a belief that brings you into the fold, that gets you grafted in. It's faith, it's desire, it's belief in the promises of Elohim and fearing him. That's what gets you into the fold. That's exactly what Acts 15 is about, and exactly right here. He's no respecter of persons. Anyone who wants to come, all creatures, the gospel's preached unto the whole world, all creatures can come to God if they just believe and have faith and fear him. But if you want to stay and not be cut off like the original branches, this is Romans 11. If you don't want to be cut off like the original branches, you have to produce works of righteousness. You know, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're still supposed to be like Cornelius, fearing Elohim,
Yeah.
keeping his commandments,
Yeah.
giving alms, doing
Yeah.
the things that matter.
Yeah. That's in the Torah too.
Yeah. So I hope this was interesting. I hope it helps someone. Obviously, if you knew this about Acts, you know, it's just another Acts 10 commentary.
Yeah.
But maybe there's someone out there, especially someone who might be just interested in the little season or millennial kingdom, that heard this and they don't keep the Torah.
Yeah.
I would say if you're not open to the idea or you don't know what it is, the Torah and the instructions of Yah, my biggest advice would be not to go on YouTube searching it out. What I would do is I'd just read the word, and I would just fear Elohim. When he says to do something, just fear him and say, yes, sir. You know, just say, oh yeah, this says forever. I think I ought to be doing this.
It really does make sense. Even reading the Gospels makes so much more sense. The understanding of Yeshua's parables, the understanding how he healed, why he healed. You know, he's constantly, you know, quoting, you know, when he's being tempted by the enemy, and he's quoting, he's literally regurgitating mostly Deuteronomy and Psalms. I mean, it just makes more sense. It really all fits together as one beautiful story when you read the front of the book.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is so important. It gets very muddied and very unclear if you're trying to fit the old into the new versus the new into the old.
Yeah.
So
Wineskins.
We just read about wineskins. That's great. That's a great.
Old
You want to segue into that one?
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we will do kind of like Old New Covenant, kind of. Maybe we could get into Melchizedek and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I think that is something that people have their heels dug in.
Well, or we just don't, you know, we don't fully understand, and so we think we fully understand it, but I think it's so much broader and deeper, especially the Melchizedek.
Yeah, we have about as many verses as the Melchizedek priesthood as we do the little
Short
season. So I mean, it's like to think that we know what it means would be, you know, it'd be kind of ignorant.
I'm still trying. I'm still, you know, desiring to understand it better. You know, and
Yeah.
I think, you know, we could definitely do something on it. But I hope this was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man, this is a long one.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice.
All right, then we should stop.
Shalom.